I'm going to tell you all a story about a man named George. He's the best to come along since the one at Valley Forge. Well, he came up on the scene to help get our country straight. And friends, he's going to do it right now in 68. Now, he's not a politician and don't own a big Texas herd, because the way they've run this country, politics is a dirty word. They say he's not his own man. That's a fact, I must agree. You'd better believe he's not his own man. He's up there for you and me. Well, our allies across the water said they'd help with wars and such, but the way Vietnam's going don't look like they're doing much. Now, when our man arrives in town, he'll lay it on the line. He'll say, come on, bring your friends. You took our money. Now's the time. Well, that man from Alabama is the man for you and me. You can hear it in the mountains. You can hear it by the sea. From the factories up in Jersey to the farms in Tennessee, George C. Wallace is the man for you and me. Some folks been fighting in the streets and messing up our schools, 'cause up till now they've had their way, made up all the rules. But when he gets to Washington, these folks are gonna cuss. He'll make sure they have all their rights, but he'll leave some there for us. Well, this country's got some troubles, and right now we're all involved. So we'd better back the man we know can get these problems solved. The man from Alabama is the man to run the show, 'cause a jackass is too stupid, the elephant's too slow. Well, the rascal in the black robe packed up all his gear to run, 'cause he finally got the message, but by then the harm was done. He made sure that we'd remember him by passing all those rules, buying commies in defense plants, taking Bible out of schools. Up in our nation's capital, a policeman stopped the crime, 'cause he was raised in Georgia, where they do it all the time. The judge said, boy, I told you not to try to stop no fights. This man just looted the building, but you stepped on his civil rights. Now, between Mr. Nixon and Humphrey, it wouldn't matter who we'd choose, 'cause whichever way the vote went, us taxpayers were sure to lose. Mr. Nixon wants two parties, and with that I must agree. We need one for him and Hubert, and one for you and me. Now, when he's asked a question, Mr. Nixon's at his best. He'll say, I'm glad you asked that, then lead off with a jest. It sounds just like a square dance. Circle left, circle right. And before you get an answer, it's time for him to say good night. Tricky Dick's a darn good loser. 1960 was the start. That fall he took in California must have hurt him to his heart. Now, he's got a lot of answers for every question 4 or 5, but if he thinks he's got troubles, wait until November 5. Well, the Democrats held a big convention. They came from near and far. It looked just like a circus, even had a clown to star. The mayor stopped a riot, and his policemen kept control, so the commies called him Hitler, and the newsman damned his soul. In the capital of our great nation, they burned and looted with pride. The policemen had to stand and watch because their hands were tied. The judge said, don't provoke them, take your face out of that man's fist. I'll tell them that's a no-no, maybe slap them on the wrist. Mr. Humphrey says, elect me, and the bombing I will cease. Then we'll sit down at the table, drinking tea and talking peace. But the point that he ain't mentioned, and you just asked Curtis LeMay, when the Viet Cong present the check, it's our boys who will pay. Now the people want some answers, and I'm talking about you and me. We want to see all three together, debating on TV. Mr. Wallace says he's ready, and he'll hurt 'em where it shows. He'll meet Nixon eyeball to eyeball, and Humphrey nose to nose. Now the man from cattle country put his brand upon them all, but we'll have a new direction when the work's all done this fall. They both say I'm my own man. We've heard what they had to say. It's hard to be your own man when you're branded LBJ. Now we mentioned the convention held in the stockyards of Illinois, but the big cattle baron from Texas didn't make any noise. Of course, they made enough without him. With him, we all agree. When he said, I'm going to the wagon, boys, these boots are killing me. When our George gets to Washington, he'll give the schools back to us. He's already said we're smart enough to run them without much fuss. Now all those guideline riders, well, he'll put them on a bus, while the briefcase-toting bureaucrats and leave the driving to us. Well, they're saying up in Washington, poor George don't stand a chance. They aim to keep that big White House and make us do their dance. But there's a fact they've overlooked, and for it they shall pay. On election day, old LBJ ain't got too much to say. Now the best verse of my story isn't funny, cute, or smart. It's something I must say, 'cause I feel it in my heart. All the people of our country should get on their knees and pray. Ask God's blessings for George Wallace, and God bless the USA.